Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Must all makeup be removed before making wudu? Must all makeup be removed before making wudu? There's two elements here. The first is the nature of the makeup, right? If makeup creates a barrier that prevents water from reaching the skin, so any form of makeup that is, I don't know if the word is insoluble, but it does not provide you with an access to the skin. So water would not be reaching the skin because the makeup is preventing the water from reaching the skin, right? I'm thinking that's called insoluble, but I don't know if that's the best word that applies here. Be that as it may, that should be removed, right? Because like with nail polish, right, that is a preventative barrier that would not allow the water to reach the skin. Beyond that, there are other forms of makeup. I'm of course not an expert in that field, but there are other forms of makeup that are perhaps not an issue because water would pass right through that, or it would wash away immediately, perhaps some sort of powder and the like. That doesn't necessarily need to be removed, but then we get into the second issue. And the second issue is that in the Shafi'i school, wudu would only be valid when you use ma mutlaq, right? Unrestricted water, pure water. So the water has to be pure in and of itself, tahir, but it also has to possess the ability to purify. So it must be mutahhir, right? It must be mutahhir. It also cannot be used water. Used water or changed water is water that is still regarded as pure because it's not contaminated by najasa, but it was either used already for the purposes of wudu or ghusl and then collected, so what we might refer to as grey water, or it's water that has been mixed with another substance that's pure but changes the qualities of the water to the point where we no longer call it water. We would have to add certain other descriptions in order to be accurate when describing the water. So what happens is when you have a substance on your person, even if it may be some sort of lotion, some thick lotion, and you perform wudu with a very small amount of water, and you wash, let's say it's your arm, so you wash your arm, but then all the water on your arm is mixed with the substance that's on your skin. And even though the water can mix with the substance and pass through, so it doesn't create that barrier in the way that makeup does, it requires some effort to remove that. And if you don't apply, rubbing or using enough water, then essentially all the water that you are applying is mixing with this, say, aqueous cream or some other form of cream, and that then becomes restricted water. It's no longer ma mutlaq, but rather it becomes ma mutaghayyar. It's water that has been changed. And you cannot use water that has been changed for the purposes of purification. So in essence, what this comes down to is, number one, if you have cosmetics that prevents water from reaching the skin, that cosmetics has to be removed before engaging in the purification process. Number two, if you have some form of cosmetics or even medication that can be removed, that's on your limbs, then to remove that before engaging in wudu is safer. If you are not going to be thorough enough during the wudu process to ensure that that is removed and that pure water reaches the skin that is sufficient for an ablution. And then a side comment in terms of cosmetics themselves. So, of course, if the cosmetics is permissible and it is being used in a permissible way, and the woman who is using this cosmetics is doing so for a permissible reason, then fabiha wa na'imat, right? But what is important for us is to ensure that we do not have this notion of needing to be better on the outside so as to appease others, especially if there are people that the Sharia prevents us from having any sort of inappropriate attraction or relationship of the sort. We shouldn't be imitating the ways of other cultures and other nations and other ways of life, because we have Islam, and Islam beautifies us from the inside out. So it is important to add this caveat. Anyone engaged in any form of cosmetics, they should evaluate Why exactly am I applying these cosmetics? What's my intention behind this? Is it permissible? That's the first question that you ask. Is it permissible? And then what are the consequences of wearing this? Like, am I prepared to take the necessary steps when it comes to purification, when it comes to the haya that is acquired of me, that is required of me, whether male or female? Wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala a'lam.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.